Okay, so first we have Abuela. And so yeah, we'll read this one first. It kind of gives like the background story if you read the inside cover. And I like in the clouds how it has like, it looks like babies to me. And I really, really like that. It's just very calming and satisfying. And I like the pictures in there. So Abuela. Okay. Abuela takes me on the bus. We go all around the city. Can't really see it. Abuela is my grandma. She is my mother's mother. Abuela means grandma in Spanish. Abuela speaks mostly Spanish because that's what people spoke where she grew up. Before she came to this country, Abuela and I, before she came to this country, Abuela and I are always going places. Today we're going to the park. El parque es lindo, says Abuela. I know what she means. I think the park is beautiful too. Tantos pajaros, Abuela says, as a flock of birds surrounds us. So many birds. They're picking up the bread we brought. So, I obviously don't know Spanish. What if they picked me up and carried me high above the park? What if I could fly? Abuela would wonder where I was. Swooping like a bird, I'd call to her. And I just think the illustrations are really just beautiful in this book. I really, really like them. They'd see me flying. Rosa Bull the bird. Rosa Bull el pajaro, she'd say. Ven abuela. Come abuela, I'd say. Si quiero volar. Abuela would reply as she leaped into the sky with her skirt flapping in the wind. Yeah. We would fly all over the city. Mira, Abuela would say, pointing, and I'd look as we soared over parks and streets, dogs and people. I just found those very pretty, those pictures. We'd wave to the people waiting for the bus. Buenos dias, we'd say. Buenos dias. Good morning, they'd call up to us. We'd fly over factories and trains and glide close to the sea. Cerca del mar, we'd say. We'd almost touch the tops of waves. Abuela's skirt would be a sail. She could race with the sailboats. I'll bet she'd win. We'd fly to where the ships are docked and watch people unload fruits from the land where Abuela grew up. Mangoes, bananas, and papayas. Those are all Spanish words. So are rodeo, patio, and bureau. Maybe we'd see a cousin of Abuela's hooking boxes of fruit to a crane. We saw her cousin Daniel once, unloading and loading the ships. Out past the boats in the harbor, we'd see the Statue of Liberty. Me gusta, Abuela would say. Abuela really likes her. I do too. We would circle around Liberty's head and wave to the people visiting her. That would remind Abuela of when she first came to this country. Vamos al aeropuerto, she'd say. She'd take me to the airport where the plane that first brought her landed. Ciudad, Abuela would tell me. We'd have to be careful as we went for a short ride. Then we could fly to Tio Pablo's and Tia Elisa's store. Pablo is my uncle, my tio, and Elisa is my aunt, my tia. They'd be surprised when we flew in, but they'd offer us a cool limonada. Flying is hot work. Pero quiero volar más. Abuela would say. She wants to fly more. I want to fly more too. We could fly to Las Nubes, the clouds. One looks like a cat. un gata. One looks like a bear, un oso. One looks like a chair, una silla. Descansemos un momento, Abuela would say. She wants to rest a moment. We would rest in our chair, and Abuela would hold me in her arms. And the whole sky, with the whole sky, our houses, nuestra casa. We'd be as high as airplanes, balloons, and birds, and higher than the tall buildings downtown. But we'd fly there too, to look around. We could find the building where my father works. Hola, papa, I'd say as I waved, and Abuela would do a flip for fun as we passed by the windows. That's a pretty cool grandma. Mira, I hear Abuela say. Look, she's telling me. I do look, and we are back in the park. We are walking by the lake. Abuela probably wants to go for a boat ride. Vamos a otro aventura, she says. She wants us to go for another adventure. That's just one of the things I love about Abuela. She likes adventures. And so, yeah. And then it gives the glossary of what each word meant. And I want to go back and read that and kind of get an idea. Because some reason I can't read good tonight, but also, like, I would probably, where I say I'd want to go back and read the words so I could better pronounce them for my class. But, you know, when you first read the book, even as a child, you know, you're going to, if you don't know Spanish, you're also going to have, you know, a hard time pronouncing them. So I think that's a part of the learning process, and that's important when reading aloud and going to the glossary to find what the words mean. I think that would be a good learning process, and you learn another language in the process of it, and, you know, a multi-generational type book, you know, hanging out with her grandmother, her abuela. And I just think this book is really special, and the pictures, the illustrations are just phenomenal. And I think that would be a good book to read aloud, and they would probably have trouble as I did, but it's a good book to read aloud. So, and then Jabari Jumps, a great book. So, Jabari Jumps. He's ready to jump off the diving board, and it gives, you know, brief description, and it has inside of a water, I guess, and I really, really like that. Like, you could just feel like you could touch it, and it would be really satisfying. So, Jabari Jumps. Okay. I'm jumping off the diving board today, Jabari told his dad. Really? Said his dad. He's going to jump off the diving board. The diving board was high and maybe a little scary, but Jabari had finished his swimming lessons and passed his swim test, and now he was ready to jump. I'm a great jumper, said Jabari, so I'm not scared at all. He's very confident. Jabari watched the other kids climb the long ladder. They walked all the way out to the end of the board, as big as tiny bugs. Then they stood on the edge. They spread their arms and bent their knees and sprang up, up, up. And then they dove down, down, down. Splash! Looks easy, Jabari said. But when his dad squeezed his hand, Jabari squeezed back. So he might be a little bit scared. Jabari stood at the bottom of the ladder. He looked up. You can go before me if you want, he told the kid behind him. I need to think about what kind of special jump I'm going to do. Jabari thought, and he thought. Jabari started to climb up and up. This ladder is very tall, he thought. Are you okay? Called his dad. I'm just a little tired, said Jabari. Maybe you should climb down and take a tiny rest, said his dad. A tiny rest sounded like a good idea. And get his rest. And I can't get the pages. Okay. When he got to the bottom, Jabari remembered something. I forgot to do my stretches, he said to his dad. I think tomorrow might be a better day for jumping, Jabari said. They looked up at the diving board together. Jabari took a deep breath and felt it fill his body from the ends of his hair right down to the tips of his toes. Jabari looked up. He began to climb up and up and up and up. Until he got to the top, Jabari stood up straight. He walked all the way to the end of the board. His toes curled around the rough edge. Pages are thick. Jabari looked out as far as he could see. He felt like he was ready. I love surprises, he whispered. He took a deep breath and spread his arms and bent his knees. Then he sprang up off the board, flying. Jabari hit the water with a splash. I really, really like that. Down, down, down he went, and then back up. Whoosh. Jabari, you did it, said his dad. I did it, said Jabari. I'm a great jumper. And you know what? What, said his dad. Surprise double backflip is next. And then that, and yeah. So I think that is a great read aloud book, just for not only young readers, but just everybody in general, because we come up to challenges in our life, and taking courage and is hard for us to do with certain things, and this is talking about jumping in a pool, but for other people in life it can be anything, whatever big thing is coming up in your life. So I think that that is really important to know that that you have to have courage sometimes to do stuff. And we mentioned in class how this is a book with just a kid doing just kid things, and we need more of that, and I think that would be important to incorporate in every classroom. I went to a very redneck, not diverse school. I never went to school with a different ethnicity. Really sad, honestly, and we didn't read anything with other people in different ethnicities in our reading range, and I think that's very sad. So coming to college in this class specifically, I think how important it is to just have to incorporate a simple book into our classroom, and it's important. And I really love this book. It's great. So those are my 2 read aloud for the week.